What's going on, everybody? This is Dana Polk Jr., Master Executive 8. And today we're talking about 3 ways that you can be more decisive and that you can make decisions, because we don't really have time to be stuck on what decision we're going to make. We just need to make one. And also, this is part of how to make good decisions and work hard to create stability for ourselves. Okay? So, when it comes to being indecisive, all right, these 3 ways are going to help you overcome indecisiveness. And this is very simple. It's very simple. You know, it may be easier said than done for some people, but if you can do this, you will actually start to build up your confidence in taking risks, and you'll be able to take on bigger risks as you go. All right? So the first thing that you need to do to overcome indecisiveness is to let go of perfection. And this can be hard if you are a perfectionist, because you want everything to be perfect. So you will want to consider all of the options that are available to you. Okay? And what that does is, well, not what that does, but most of us are indecisive because of this one thing. And that's, we're afraid of the negative consequences that'll come from our decision. However, there are negative consequences that come from making no decision. So, the thing is to let go of that perfection. You know what I mean? You let go of that perfection by starting to take risks. I mean, which is going to be our next step. The only way you can overcome indecision is if you actually take that chance that you might be wrong. You know, like, you got to be okay with that risk that you might be wrong. All right? So, you know, you'll want to take some calculated risk, but don't take too long to calculate. So what I would suggest is that whatever you think is the next best step, after you figure that out, just start moving in that direction. By you moving in that direction, you'll start to gain momentum, and then you'll grow in confidence, knowing that despite the possibility of you making that wrong choice, that you made a choice, right? And then you'll start to see that eventually start to see the risk as a challenge. Like, okay, well, shoot, I've overcome that risk, you know, all these little risks. You know what, let me take a bigger risk. You know, it'll build your confidence in risk taking, right? So the second thing you'll want to do is, actually, this is kind of going in the first thing, because, all right, boom, you let go of perfection. You know, you remind yourself that, hey, this doesn't have to be perfect. The next thing I want you to listen to your gut, right? And this goes against traditional advice when it comes to decision making, because most of the times we're told to use our reason and logic, right? But what happens is sometimes you can be so overwhelmed in your prefrontal cortex with decisions and weighing and all of that, and it can literally leave you paralyzed, right? So that's when it's wise to listen to your gut, right? Continuously weighing too many options can literally leave you paralyzed. I know, because I've been there. Okay? So, for example, right, in the 1980s, this scientist named Antonio Demzio, they were studying patients who had tumors, right? So because of their tumors, their limbic and their emotional systems were basically damaged. Like, they didn't have the ability to use their guts or their emotions. Like, it was pretty much just left to reason and logic. So what happened was these patients would take up to 5 hours choosing a pen to write with. All right? And that's where we don't want to be. We don't want to be stuck in indecision because, like I said, not making a decision is making a decision. So what you want to do is you'll want to, step 3, you want to practice start making small decisions, right? So after you've reminded yourself that, hey, this does not have to be perfect, and that if I don't make a decision, that is making a decision, right? So after that, then boom, you listen to your gut. All right, what do I feel as though in my gut is the next best decision to make? Then boom, you go with that, right? But like, don't take on too much to where your brain goes into flight mode. All right, make a small decision. You know, whatever that big decision or whatever the decision is, break it down to the smallest possible movement. And then by practicing making those smaller decisions, you'll build up the courage to take bigger risks. Nando Pelusi from some Psychology Today says, mastering smaller decisions with confidence can empower you to tackle larger ones in the future. So as you work on making those smaller decisions, slowly progress to decisions with more risk to build your confidence and maintain the progress you already had. You know, because you don't want to overreach yourself and then slip right back into that indecisiveness. You know, this is not an overnight thing for you. It may not be an overnight thing for you. It may be something that happens a lot. So you need a system in place to quickly so you can quickly make decisions. The last thing is, I'll just say this is an extra note, is if you are depressed, that could be the cause of your chronic indecisiveness. And in that case, it would be best to deal with the depression, which this particular talk is not about that. You can go maybe look that up somewhere else. That may be something that I may deal with in the future. But just check and just, you know, I don't even know how you check for that. Make sure you're not depressed, you know. But, you know, just make sure you're not depressed. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that your indecisiveness is not coming from a low state. All right? So let's just recap. Number 1, remind yourself that whatever decision you have to make may not be perfect. Also, that not making a decision is a decision. All right? Next, listen to your gut if your mind is overwhelmed with options and you feel paralyzed. Next, pick the decision you feel is closest to the quote-unquote right one, because you won't know it's right till you actually do it. You know, fear is false evidence appearing real. So a fear of making a decision is usually based on some false evidence. Like, you'll conjure up some false evidence and of something that hasn't even happened yet because you haven't even tried it. You haven't even done anything. You know, so we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot before we even start. All right, so next, pick the decision you feel is closest or the right one to take action on, and then break it down into small bite-sized pieces. Choose something small that you can work on immediately. This is another thing. The minute you get that decision broken down into some sort of small actionable, take action on it immediately, you know, as humanly possible. All right? And then as you continue to do this, you'll build your confidence, you're in risk-taking, you know, you'll build your ability to make good decisions. And then, you'll just continue to build. You'll become stronger. You'll start taking more risks. You'll start making bigger and better decisions. All right, so this wasn't really meant to be originally it was meant to be a long show. I was going to get into the etymology and all of that stuff, but I realized that, I'm not going to say I'm not a didactic teacher, but this to me was different. Didactic teaching, I honestly don't know if that is my calling or any of that. So I just went with what I thought was the best thing to do, which was what we're talking about right now. And I feel like if you do this process, it's an easy way for you to go from stuck and making a decision to just moving forward, and at least getting in a place to where you're building your confidence by taking risks. All right. So that's it, guys. If you guys need any help making any decisions, I am a master executive. I am an executive decision maker. Look, if you don't want to make the decision, shoot, I'll make the decision for you. Call me and let me know your situation. And if you need an executive decision made, I will consider all of the options that have to do with that decision. If it's a big decision, if it's a small decision, I don't care what the decision is. Email me at themasterexecutive8@gmail.com. I'll help you make that decision. Check out my YouTube channel for more content at Master Executive 8. My Facebook page, Master Executive 8. My website, Master Executive 8, where all of my services and all of that will be put on there. I'm building my online presence. However, you guys can still get a hold of me. Y'all can get in touch with me. I'm reachable. I'm relatable. I'm in this just like you. I'm no different than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have issues making decisions as well, but that's cool. We got a system in place to quickly get past any paralysis of analysis. Okay. All right, guys. I will talk to y'all later. I don't know exactly when I'll do another show. I do know I'm going to be doing something every day. While I'm building on the back end, something on the front end is going to be getting done every day. Because the way I see it now, somebody's got to hear me and what I have to say every day, because I don't know if I'm going to be living tomorrow or 5 minutes from now or 10 minutes from now. So I figure at the very least every day, whatever spirit drop in my heart to say, I'm going to come say. All right? All right, guys. Hey, don't get stuck on those decisions. Make your decisions quickly. Move forward. If for whatever reason you're having difficulty, email me, themasterexecutive8@gmail.com. We'll help you make that decision so that you guys can move forward. Wholeness.